Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Wonder Woman 1984, the new DC movie directed by Patty Jenkins, the director and writer of the first Wonder Woman movie that came out a few years ago, which in the pantheon of DC movies that have come out, not including Joker, not including, obviously, the Chris Nolan Batman movies, but all the other movies based on DC properties, in my opinion, have been absolute and utter garbage. Whether it's Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, yada, 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 Zack Snyder, one of the most overrated directors to ever be at the helm of a franchise. Just garbage, garbage, garbage. The last Wonder Woman movie, however, I thought was pretty just okay. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't great, but it also didn't make me hate the time spent watching it. Now, moving on to this version of Wonder Woman, I did not like it whatsoever. I thought this fits in better with the other pieces of garbage that comes out of that whole Travis Sham mockery. It opens with the most pointless obstacle course kind of a thing. So they're like back on the island of hot chicks, and for some reason there's a child competing who's doing better than all of the adults. But because she falls off of her horse, she has to take a shortcut and ends up not winning. The scene has no bearing on the story whatsoever. It never comes back to, that lesson I learned when I was a child. It's a pretty pointless scene that's full of what I hate the most in modern day action movies, especially superhero movies, is what I call the rubber people. It is CG humans doing athletic things that just don't follow, like they don't look real at all. Either the people actually look like they're bending, like they're made of rubber, or they just have this weightlessness to them when they do things. And it's that scene, that opening scene, is full of it. The actual obstacles they have to do. It's like somebody who's never been athletic or actually watched like one of those American Ninja Warrior kind of shows. Like somebody that's never watched one of those just being like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could just make one of those and just like throw it into a big budget movie and have that scene make no sense. Horrible. I'm going to list off a bunch of things in this movie that I did not like. I really didn't like. There's Kristen Wiig, probably the best part of this. Chris Pine is actually pretty decent as well. Although Kristen Wiig's character takes a nosedive towards the end of the film. The whole premise of this movie, I mean, it's set in 1984, which, aside from a dress-up montage to make fun of the fashion of the day, and then kind of the static of the TV, and there's like a few things that kind of make you feel like you're in 1984, but for the most part, it doesn't really feel like it doesn't really take me back to a time of 1984. Let's just say, but the whole premise of this thing is centered around this wish stone, like the ability for wishes to come true, and it takes place in a stone form, and the bad guy decides to wish himself to be the lamp, as it were. Like if the wish stone was a genie in a lamp, he wants to be the lamp and the genie, and so he personifies this wish stone and has to and convinces people to make wishes on his behalf, because there's this rule, I guess, that there's only one wish, although Kristen Wiig's character gets two wishes for some reason. And then also everybody knows exactly how to opt out of their wish. Like there's a phrase you have to say to opt out. of your, like, if, like, just kidding, just never mind, psych, right? I make this wish, psych. I didn't make that wish. My fingers were crossed, which is stupid. That's the end of the movie, that revelation comes through. Um, Gal Gadot, one of the most emotionless actors I've ever seen, one of the most one note. Like, I'm trying to read her face. Like, that's the thing I loved about Kristen Wiig and Chris Pine, is that you can, like, kind of read their emotion on their face, like their face goes through a range of emotion. Gal Gadot's face, I don't know if it's from Botox, I don't know if it's from whatever, but she has one look to her face. There is one scene where she has, like, ugly cry face, right? But the rest of the movie is just stone face. Stone, it doesn't matter if she's happy, sad, concerned, angry, whatever. Just stone face. The magic rope, like, she can just move her hand, like the actions of her in all of these action scenes, which are horrible. Like, I don't mind a bad action movie, right? Michael Bay, probably the king of horribly written action movies, right? Which this very similar in so many ways to a Michael Bay movie, except for the one aspect of Michael Bay movies that I find to be very exciting, and those are the action set pieces. This movie, all of the action set pieces are stupid. They don't make any sense. It's all, like, very convenient how things happen. This magic rope bullshit doesn't really, like, the actions of the rope and then the actions of Wonder Woman's, like, throwing the rope, they don't match up. It's just she does a thing, and then the rope just kind of does whatever it needs to do to handle a situation, but not even in, like, a smart way or like an exciting way. It's just like, what's going on? And then, like, the powers she has, she doesn't use in situations where she could really use those powers. There's a scene where it's like the whole reference thing that these comic book movies, which I'm sure if you've read the comic book movies or whatever, they're like, no, but there's, like, so many Easter eggs in this movie that if you actually read all the comic books, then you would know the importance of this stuff, and it adds so much, like all the other DC movies where you have to do your homework for anything to make sense. But there's a scene where they're flying to Cairo, right? Planes can fly nonstop to Cairo now. So they take a fighter jet, which he somehow knows how to fly, right? He's a pilot, yeah. But he goes from, like, early crop duster planes from whatever the last movie takes place. And now he's in, like, this state-of-the-art fighter jet. Like somebody going from a Model T to a Tesla and just knowing how to fly it or drive it. So they go flying. She does this make the plane invisible thing, right, to reference her invisible plane, which she doesn't need. Turns out there's some stupid stuff happens in this plane. One, we come to find out that despite all of her scientific degrees, which were noted earlier in the movie, how she has all these degrees and all these scientific backgrounds, for some reason, the science of flight is something that just completely just is too complex for her, right? It's just too complex for her to understand how planes work, how flight works. So she makes this plane invisible, and they decide, oh, let's go fly through. It's 4th of July by this time. Let's go fly through the fireworks, right? Because that's smart when you're in a plane, right? Let's just go fly through fireworks. I know we're invisible, but I guess flying through fireworks isn't going to damage anything. Dumb. Stupid that she doesn't understand flight. Stupid that the plane is, like, they do this invisible thing, which they don't make anything else invisible this whole time. And they fly through fireworks. Whatever. Cut to, they're in, like, the Middle East area. They're in Egypt. And there's this chase scene, which is stupid also. Like, this chase scene is the most pointless chase scene considering the powers that she has, which she only uses a couple of them, but it's like, I mean, what are we doing here? It's just like, I'm watching Superman, like, struggle, basically, because she's basically Superman. Especially once we find out that she can actually fly. Like, it just hits her. Like, she does the rope thing, which can, she can just kind of grab onto anything with the rope. Like, there's a scene where she literally grabs onto lightning to, like, fling herself up into the sky, where then she can all of a sudden she understands flight and she can fly. Like, it's all about wind and thrust, and it's just like, it's so stupid. So anyway, there's this car chase scene in the desert, nothing around anywhere, but for some reason there's kids playing soccer in the street, right? Because that's what kids in a desert will do. They'll go, when they have open desert everywhere, they will go to the street, because there's a car chase, and you have to have this thing. Oh no, the kids, we got to protect the kids. Just dumb, just dumb. Like, that whole chase scene, that whole car scene was stupid. Like, because she doesn't understand how to use her own powers to make this chase scene work in her favor. Of course, there's the low light battle scene at the very end, where Kristen Wiig character, some reason, gets a second wish, and for some reason decides to be an apex predator, which I'm sure is a character from a comic book, but whatever. It's handled really stupid. The like TV broadcasts touch people like, oh, it's a figure of speech, but that's just like, the figure of speech is enough of a loophole to make this wishing loophole work. It's just like, and then everything happens. So like, everything gets turned around, right? Because people realize, for some reason, if they say, I renounce my wish, that they, their wishes, because it's like, oh, there's a chaos of wishes. And then, right, it was like 4th of July 2 days ago, and this movie ends on Christmas for some reason. It's just like, like, the time span of everything that goes on doesn't make sense. The whole wishing thing doesn't make sense. The fighting scenes don't make sense. The fact that she sees Chris Pine, like, as because he leaped into a body because she wished for him to be back, so he like possessed some other dude's body, and but she doesn't see the other dude. She only sees Chris Pine. It's just like this. And then she falls in love with that guy anyway. It's like, every aspect of this movie is stupid. It is so bad. It is so bad. And it's so annoying to see people celebrate this just because it's written and directed by a woman. Like, that's like, women can make good ass movies, right? But they have to make good ass movies. Like, just because they made a thing doesn't mean it should be celebrated, in my opinion. Like, they still have to make good shit. And this was like a big pile of shit. Like, nothing makes sense in this movie. And I could probably do a super extended, go through beat by beat of this entire film and tear it apart. But it was laughably sad. And I'm glad that I will never have to watch it again. Never again. Make sure you support our sponsor, Station House Coffee, on Instagram and stationhousecoffee.com. Order yourself some amazing coffee, single origin, premium, small batch coffee, brewed in Thetford Center, Vermont, and shipped directly to you. Go to stationhousecoffee.com and order your coffee today, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!